What's up, everybody? Welcome to Principles of Arts, AV Tech and Communications. We're talking about photography this week. This is week 4, day 2. Glad you guys are joining us here. My name is Mr. Brown. I am your instructor for this course, and today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite topics of all, cameras. Cameras are one of my favorite tools to use. There's so many different things you can do with them. The possibilities are literally endless nowadays. And so what we're going to do today is we're going to talk just briefly about different types of cameras so you guys are familiar with the different types and how they work. We're going to browse a couple of websites so you can just kind of see what cameras are out there, what they cost, and if you're interested in buying one, a couple places you might can start to get things going. So we're going to start off by talking about the different parts of a camera. Because whether it's a cell phone or the most expensive, newest mirrorless camera, all of them have the same parts. They may or may not look the same, but they are the same. So we're going to start off really simply with my camera. This is one of my main cameras that I work with. This has been a great camera for several years. It is a Canon 5D Mark III. It's a professional DSLR. We're going to talk about what that is in a minute. But this is called a camera body. This is a camera body right here. The camera body has mainly your media storage. So like this is a digital camera, so it takes cards. And so we have 2 different cards that are in this camera. This one's an older one, so it still takes CF cards. But yeah. It also has the shutter, which we learned about yesterday. It's hard to see the shutter right now because you can kind of see there's a mirror right in here. And we're going to talk about why and what that mirror is in a minute. But behind the mirror is the shutter. And this is where the lens actually attaches. So the camera body is going to have your media storage. It's going to have your shutter. It's also almost always, pro tip, keep this on your camera. Keep dust out. It's almost always either going to have a display screen or a viewfinder so that you can look through. So your camera body is either always going to have a display screen or a viewfinder of some sort. Your camera body is also generally going to have all of your different settings and adjustments. So this is the biggest part of the camera. Not the most expensive part sometimes, but the biggest chunk of it. This is the camera body. Now these come in different shapes and sizes, and this is just one example. And we're going to talk about what type this is in a minute, but camera body. The next part, and this is the most important part. People get wrapped up in buying new cameras all the time, but the camera body is not the most important part. In fact, the lens, this is the lens, is the most important part. This lens is removable. A lot of professional level stuff is. Some of your cameras do not have removable lenses. For example, camera phones, no removable lenses. You can get lenses that stick onto the lenses and kind of have some different effects, which are helpful. Because they don't have removable lenses, this is why the newest iPhone 11 Pro comes with 3 different cameras, because each one of those is actually a different lens. And we're going to talk more about, oh, I didn't put the title on the screen. Oh, whoops, here we go. Lenses, there we go, lenses. Okay, yeah, lens, this is the lens. Different lenses have different things. Some are prime, which means they can't zoom in. This is a zoom lens, and you can see it zooms when I do that. This lens is removable. This is a Canon lens, goes with my Canon camera. This is a 24-105, and we're going to talk about later what that means, but that's how much it's able to zoom. And it kind of gives you an idea of whether it's a wide angle or a telephoto or a zoom lens. So the lens is super important. A lot of photographers make the mistake of spending all their money on a camera body and getting a really bad lens. But the lens, which has the glass, is literally the most important part. So yes, lens. Another part that almost all cameras have is the flash. Like the lenses, like the bodies, the flashes come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes. This is called a speed light, and it fits on top of this camera. So right here, and it just locks in. You can see, there we go, speed light's on. It has an adjustable head, so you can shoot the light wherever you'd like to shoot it. This one is a slightly bigger one. But the speed light, a lot of your cameras may have a flash built into the body. This one doesn't. This is a professional camera, and those pop-up flashes, we don't really use those. But some of your cameras will have a pop-up flash right here or another little pop-up flash. Pop-up flashes are great, they're handy, they're convenient. They shoot light in one direction, and they don't usually have a lot of power. This kind of flash, a speed light, it attaches to your camera, but these can also be placed other places and fired remotely. So that's kind of a cool feature. So you can use more than just one of these. You can have several of them, and that you just be sitting right here and just start going off. So it's kind of cool. There's on-camera flashes and off-camera flashes, but mainly there's just flashes. I mean, they come in different shapes and sizes, and so that's how that works. When you put this whole thing together, we're gonna pop all this together. This is normally, I do a lot of flash photography because I do stuff inside. And so, oops, that was loud. So here we go. This is my put together DSLR. This is kind of what it looks like. I have, some light modifiers and some different things that I use with this. This is considered a professional level camera, but that doesn't necessarily mean that this type of camera is the best camera. In fact, there's new cameras coming out now, a new type that makes this one somewhat outdated. Now, I still love this camera. It's been with me for a long time. It's a very close friend. I do have a new camera that I've ordered that is the new type. So let's talk about types of cameras and how they're kind of different and how they can be used differently. The first type, I'm just gonna talk about this one, is DSLR, or if you have an older one, it's just called an SLR. So the D means digital SLR. Single lens reflex. And what that means is that there is just one lens here and that there is a mirror inside of the camera. The mirror is actually behind the lens. You can almost see it if you look inside. I'll hold it up there. You can kind of see there's a mirror right there. And that mirror bounces the light from the lens up into the viewfinder. And when it's time for you to take a picture, you just click it and that mirror actually flips up. So this is, oh no, my other light went out. Oh, let's go fix that. I'll be right back, stay there. And we're back. Okay, so this camera has a mirror. So it is an SLR, or this one is a digital SLR. So behind the mirror is where the shutter is, and behind the shutter is where the sensor is. Or if you have a film camera, that's where the film goes. So this has an electronic sensor on the inside, and that's how we take our pictures. Every camera that is made today has a sensor on the inside. Every camera, including the ones in your cell phones. So that is a DSLR. There is another kind of camera called a mirrorless. They look very similar to this, but they're slightly smaller. The lenses are almost always detachable. You can get them all the way up to this size where they're like a really big professional one, or you can get an even smaller one. The new camera that I've ordered is a mirrorless camera. It's the professional one, so all these pieces will work on that one. But it's been back ordered because of COVID and all that stuff. So I'm waiting for it to get here, maybe one day. But it is a mirrorless camera, so it doesn't have that mirror that flips up. So it's slightly smaller, weighs a little bit less, and there's a lot of benefits to having a mirrorless. But you just need to know that there are two different types of big professional cameras. One is a DSLR. You're going to need to know that, and it has a mirror. And then there is a mirrorless, and it does not have a mirror, but it's still a professional sized camera. So we talked about DSLR, bam. We talked about mirrorless, and in this graphic I should have made it one word, but I made it two for some reason, don't know why. And there's one other main type of camera that we're going to talk about, and that is the point and shoot. Now, back in the old days of film, the point and shoot was a very small camera with a lens that was fixed. It was basically everything was made into one thing. You just picked it up and literally pointed and shot. There wasn't like a big lens, a lot of focus. There wasn't like a lot of extra parts. The flash would pop out of the camera, or it was just like on the front of the camera and you just pressed it and it just flashed. So that's a point and shoot. Really, if I want to be honest, a modern point and shoot is essentially your cell phone camera is a point and shoot. They don't take as professional looking photos, but that doesn't mean that they don't take as good photos. I actually use my iPhone to take a lot of photos right now, and I don't always haul this around with me, this monstrosity. I often use my cell phone to take those pictures. So on my iPhone, I have the exact same parts. It's just they're made a little bit differently. I have a lens. I have 3 of them on the back because I have an 11 Pro, and each one of those lenses has a different focal length. Now I can't change them or adjust them. My iPhone is actually a mirrorless camera, so there's no mirror in it. It's a mirrorless point and shoot. If I want to get right down to it, a mirrorless point and shoot. And so it has all the same components. It technically has a camera body. It's just all made into one. The pieces aren't detachable or removable, however you would like to say it. So at a point and shoot level, your camera is one whole unit. Lens, body, and flash are all made together. A DSLR and a mirrorless camera, most of those are bigger, and they at least have removable lenses, and at least have the shoe mount where you can add your flash. This is, just so you guys know, this is called a shoe. This one has electricity, so it's called a hot shoe. But most of your mirrorless and DSLRs have this shoe mount for your flash. Some of them still do have a built-in flash, but that's how that works. So when it comes to photography, you need to be aware of how these work. And even if you're interested in video or you're interested in graphic design, these are going to make a big difference. Graphic design, because you will need to use photographs in what you're doing, and taking the right photograph helps. If you know at least a little bit about how a camera works, or at least a little bit about what they're called, that helps a whole lot. If you're gonna shoot video, well, I've got good news for you. These DSLRs and these new mirrorless cameras, they shoot video phenomenally. In fact, you can buy one of these and shoot some amazing video. You'd actually be surprised how much of what you watch on YouTube is shot on something exactly like this. So they're very helpful, but you need to know the basic tools. And really quickly, I wanna share with you guys, this is Canon's website. Now, I am a huge Canon fan, and you can kind of shop and see, you know, what is out there. This is what I actually just ordered, the Canon R5. These are their 2 newest mirrorless cameras. This whole top row is mirrorless. And then we get down here to the bottom row, and we see these are the DSLRs here. This one has a mirror, this one has a mirror. This is a beast of a camera, the EOS 1DX Mark III. I actually got to play with one of these just this weekend. One of my friends brought one over, and we got to hang out and I checked it out. Oh my goodness, amazing camera, so cool. Also, look at that price tag, $6,500. That's just killer. And then you can get down into, these are kind of their point and shoots here. So you've got the whole different range. I've got another manufacturer pulled up. If it'll load. This is Sony. For some reason it's not loading on the screen. There it goes. This is Sony, and we have they don't make any DSLRs. Sony only makes mirrorless cameras. That's their game, is the mirrorless camera market. So we have several different mirrorless cameras here. You've got this, this is kind of almost a point and shoot. It's very, very small. And we have their compact cameras, which actually are their point and shoots here, that are all made into one piece. So some pretty fun things to have. Yeah, that's, oh, I was talking that whole time and you guys couldn't see it. So what an idiot. Here we go. This is these are the mirrorless cameras that they have. Sorry, I was not paying attention to what camera angle was on. These are the mirrorless cameras that they have. These are their different full-sized interchangeable, notice they call them interchangeable lens cameras. These are their point and shoot cameras. They call them compact cameras. They also have a host of other accessories and different things. So there we go, guys. That is that's an introduction into photography. Today we're going to be hopefully taking some pictures and showing you guys how different cameras take different types of pictures, so you can kind of see firsthand, and just do a little bit of experimenting and playing around, having you know, just some hands-on time with actual equipment is going to be hopefully a little bit of fun. Make sure you go and check out some of these camera websites, do some shopping on Canon, Sony, Nikon, a lot of great brands that you can kind of shop and see what these different cameras look like. Some of them can record in 4K, some can record in 8K. So there's a lot of different options out there for recording video or taking really great stills. Okay, that's all I have for you guys today. Hope y'all have a great day. Let me know if you have any questions. Make sure you email me at william.brown@terrelisd.org, or you can follow me on Twitter to make sure that you're keeping up with everything that's going on in our class and some of the cool stuff that's happening. All right, guys, that's it for today. See you all tomorrow. It's been a great day. Bye.